Something. How was it actually watching people watch Hello Beautiful for the first time?
I was worried about the sound.
They did a great job. I think that was wonderful. That went well. Let's clap our hands for this guy. So this is a great segue. Again, we've been doing a lot of segues. Bill would have laughed at me for that. Because we're coming hot off another session that had questions about animation. Why don't people just do more animation? And I think you're the perfect person to talk about animation from the perspective of this project. Tell us what got you to make this film? What was the technical journey like?
Well, this film is part of a bigger story that we're working on. Yeah, but there's always challenges technical-wise.
Yeah.
You know, so I met this amazing writer. Her name is Brenda Zangare.
All right.
Yeah, and she presented these stories that she wanted animated. You know, people do not know the process. A lot of people do not know or appreciate the process.
Pre-production, that kind of thing.
Yes. So
Writing.
I told her that the advice that I gave her was, you know what? I think the best you can get is artists that can help you maybe come up with graphic novels, because animation it's something else.
Yeah.
So along those lines, I was fascinated by her stories. I had a story that I wanted to tell as well. So we just hooked up and we started writing this thing. Yeah, so Hello Beautiful is part of a bigger story that we want to write. It's called Colony.
All right.
Yeah, it's I think it's one of the a bit more mature stuff that I've worked on. Yeah, so it's basically Africa is recolonized.
Oh,
in the near future.
No, not that.
Yeah, it's a bit dark, but it's something that has to be said. And that's where we're still building the stories. And you mentioned the technical difficulties.
Yeah. No, well, technical journey.
Yeah, the challenges.
Okay, it's full of challenges. Nothing good. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. We're always learning.
Yeah.
So I think what made this even more challenging was we are still trying to figure out the design of pretty much everything. I think the only thing we have locked down are characters. The three main characters. Yeah. We don't even have final design on the enemies, the actual environment. Yeah. Oh, yeah, but eventually when it comes out, I'm sure you'll see most of the missions will be happening in the sunset. Okay. Yeah, but then that's part of the story.
So, and I wanna mention something very interesting. I know a lot of artists from this generation, independent artists, they're very interested in learning Blender. And you're a Blender user primarily. How much Blender was utilized to make this short?
200%.
200% Blender. Blender people, where you at? Okay, some Blender users there. This guy's got a big grin. He's like, yeah, Blender. Tell us a little bit about Blender for those who don't know, and then you can tell us how it was instrumental in making this.
Blender is amazing. I think, especially for this part of the world where...
How much does it cost?
0.
Wow.
It'll probably cost you maybe 300 megabytes of data.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It is amazing, and it's developing quite rapidly. And the good thing about Blender is you get help from the community, even the developers themselves.
Wow.
Yeah, like I did get help on the stylized smoke sims that I want to do with these ones. Yeah, the people give back. And
so by stylized smoke simulations, he's talking about the explosions or wherever you saw visual effects that had smoke in it. By stylized, he means that it's more cartoon-like instead of photorealistic. So what he means over there is that he actually got assistance from the people who developed the software called Blender on how to design that stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I leave no man behind or woman behind.
Yeah. Anyone who's interested, I think you should. Right now is a good time to learn Blender. There's a lot happening with it, and it's very good. You should try it.
Awesome. So how long did it take you to put this together?
I'm not sure, man. Because this was done in our free time.
But which year did you start in 2022?
Yeah, I think in 2022, but it was just on and off because it's part of a... Okay, let me just rewind a bit.
Yeah.
So since it's part of a bigger story, we were still building the characters and everything else. I was like to Brenda, you know what? Let's do something before we get bored with this thing. Let's do something. Let's do 3 shots where we introduce the characters. Yeah, so we did Hello Beautiful, introducing the character, one of the main characters. The name is Tumelo. Yeah, the main character in the recent shot. And so with that now, we started building off the building blocks. Like I said, remember the tech that we were talking about, the nemesis in this, he wasn't even our design. That's a Sketchfab model.
Oh, wow.
Yes, but then it won't be part of the bigger story, but we just needed to have something out that introduces the world and see if what we're doing will work.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, in the process, that's when we started seeing what will work and what wouldn't work.
Are you all familiar with Sketchfab? You all no? Aha, great. So maybe you can just elaborate on what it means to use something from Sketchfab and bring it into your production. Just a little background.
Oh yeah, Sketchfab is a sharing site where artists and designers alike share the work, mostly 3D work. There's a lot of free assets and free stuff you can use there, but obviously if you want to use in your project, you need to read and go through the licensing of all the, because some of the stuff there might be free, but you cannot use it for particular reasons. So yeah, but it's awesome if you're trying out some things, if you're learning. It's a quick way to populate your scenes, your designs. Yeah, you should check it out, Sketchfab.
Great. So you yourself are no stranger to Comexpose. Like I said, you had a chance to present at Comexpose 2021. Yeah. But we got a whole new crowd. We're celebrating 10 years of Comexposed.
Yeah, congrats.
We're celebrating 10 years of Comexposed. So just for the benefit of those who don't know your journey, can you just tell us your own version of who is Lionel Fowler?
Wow, Lionel Fowler is creative director. Well, now I'm a creative director, but I started off in fine arts. I was a fine artist. Pretty much, I think I've moved in a lot of segments in the industry. Yeah, fine arts, graphic design. I did signwriting at some point.
Sign, like the physical one.
Yeah, like back then when
hey, man, you're revealing your age, brother. I'm joking. Go ahead.
Yeah, we like back then in school we even did calligraphy.
Was that the Harare Polytechnic?
No, I was at Peter Page.
Oh wow.
Yeah, with the legendary
Peter Page. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, it was a very good journey. I think pretty much most of the principles that I use these days I learned from him.
Wow. Yeah. So what does that say about your appreciation of the art fundamentals? Like, that's a traditional art school from what I remember.
Yes, definitely. It is.
Would you say you would be where you're at without it?
Definitely, most definitely. I think I probably wouldn't have been sitting here right now if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
It's a good starting point. But then the world that we're in, we're in a good age. You know, you don't necessarily need to be good at drawing, to be an animator, to be a designer anymore. You can find your niche and you can work with it. So it's fortunate for the guys who are maybe talented artistically already, or the guys who are learning. It's always good, but you can still do amazing things even if you don't really have the good hand to sketch or things like that. Yeah.
That's amazing. Trevor, do we have time for some Q&A? Awesome. I guess at this point I'll open up to the floor. You guys can raise your hands if you got any questions about Hello Beautiful or any questions for Mr. Fowler. We've got one up here.
A bit going back to the previous conversation, how much, out of interest, how much does that cost?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I'm not quite sure, honestly speaking.
Ballpark figure.
Oh man. If I think about the process, and all the nights and all the trials and errors,
it's a crazy one, isn't it? Well,
Oh, at least 10. At least 10.
At least 10,000
Yeah.
RTGS. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, that's great. Do we have any other questions? Yep, we've got one over there, and then I guess you can start with the one next to you.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Joel. So as an artist myself, I'd like to venture into the art industry by, first of all, I wanted to start creating webtoons. After I create webtoons, hopefully when I get the funding, I'll venture into animation. And I thank God I didn't get demotivated by the amount of money that I mentioned. But I wanted to ask, countless people who hear the career aspiration I want to do tell me that I'm Zimbabwe, I'm in the industry. Everywhere I go, because I do debate and public speaking, and everyone thinks I'm going to be a politician. I'm like, no, I'm just confident enough to do debate, but I actually want to do animation. And they're like, I'm not industry. No. So
Wow.
what do you think about that?
Should invite them to come exposed.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely you should do that. I think, it's the burden is on us, especially you younger guys. The industry is the people. Yeah, so you are part of building the industry. Whatever it is that you do from now on is collectively, including Pius and all the other guys. It's building the industry, because even in South Africa, it pretty much started like what we have here. So we can't really say there's no industry. There is an industry. It just needs to be ignited. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had another one over there.
Hi, I'm Naeem. I'm an animator, and my question is, how long did it take you to learn Blender, and was the sound effects and sound engineering done in-house studio, or did you get the sound effects outside? And how much did Western and Eastern animation inspire you in your work for this project?
Wow, good questions.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, with Blender, I think it was easier for me because by the time I picked up Blender, I was already proficient in several 3D packages. So once you pretty much get the basics of a 3D package and you switch to a new one, it's easier that way because you understand the basic fundamentals of how the things work. So for me, it was an easier way to learn Blender, and it was faster because I quickly grabbed some of the required or some of the amazing features that it has. As far as the sound is concerned, most of the sound was done in-house. We do use a lot of stock sites as well. There's one which is pretty good. Some of them were in-house, and maybe a few, because the others where you need a bit of emphasis. Yeah, some of them, maybe 2 or 3, we bought those. There's SoundSnap. Yeah, SoundSnap is quite good, but most of the stuff we get from free stock sites. There's Zapsplat, www.zapsplat.com, and they're pretty cool. You can use the sound. You just need to, I think the license is attribution. Yeah, so you pretty much just have to credit them, and you can use their stuff even for TV. So it's so, most of the sound we get there. And then for the mastering, I happen to have amazing friends in the music industry.
Oh.
Yeah, and collaboration, I think one other thing that I just need to say, don't be afraid to reach out to people and collaborate. I'm sure you've seen some of my other shots. I have people that I reached out to. I'm like, yo, I'm working on a shot.
Yeah.
And I think your music would pretty much work on this one.
Yeah.
Here's the storyline. It's not complete, but this. And 2-3 days, the guy writes a song.
Wow.
Like a full song, and he's even got backup vocals.
Wow.
And sends it to me.
That's incredible.
You know,
the only other place where I've seen that kind of thing happening, it's this thing called is it chips and bars? It's scripts and bars. They're these amazing musicians you can collaborate with.
Yes.
And they also have animators among them. I don't know. Anybody ever heard of scripts and bars? What is that thing? Scripts and scripts. It's amazing. You should Google that using telco broadband, which is free right now. Just get onto the telco network. Sorry, back to
Oh yeah. So I think regarding the music, that's pretty much it. And the influence, wow. There's a lot of
like
influence.
Eastern. He asked about Eastern influence. I think
Yes.
that was a little apparent in the choice of the ninja.
Definitely,
yeah.
because the antagonists in the whole story is of an Asian native. I'm sure if you read the
synopsis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Eastern influence there. I think some of the shots were inspired by a Japanese anime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and mostly the Eastern one. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. There's a question from me. Did you render everything locally, or did you use a cloud service to render the final output?
Oh man, that was local, and it was a gruesome experience.
How long did it take to render it out?
Well, so this was rendered in Eevee.
Mm-hmm.
It took quite a while. I think the most challenging frames took, I think, 2 to 3 minutes a frame to render.
Mm-hmm.
But and some of them. So the amazing thing about Eevee, you won't obviously have the quality of path traces and all the lights, but for stylized work, it does amazing.
It does an amazing job.
Yes, it does an amazing job, and that's what we were aiming at. And the rendering, I think it took 3 months to get it right, because what happens when you render, not everything comes out right.
Yeah.
And you try to figure out, man, what's causing this? What's causing this?
So let me just give everyone a bit of context so that we don't lose anyone, and then I'll let this question come from the floor. So in 3D animation, there's a process called rendering, and there's a part of the software we use which is specialized to the whole function of creating the final image, what we call the final image. Now, in every 1 second of animation you see on screen, 24 or maybe 30 still images had to be finalized by the software, calculated. So this renderer calculates the lights, the shadows, the textures, everything. And per frame, it can take a lot of time, just like he's mentioned. So he was just elaborating on what it took to render out the final piece after they had done all the animation, the effects, and so on. So with that, I hope everybody's now on the same page, and then I'll hand over to our next question. Go ahead.
Great. Really, really impressed, man. And inspired. The fact that there's a lot that's happening right now. So my question is around the final product, because there's a case of that you're able to make it, and lock picture and everything. But from a business point of view, what do you do with the final published product, which is Hello Beautiful? Do you enter it in festivals, and what exactly do you expect when you're done with producing such a beautiful artwork?
Okay, so with Hello Beautiful, as I said previously, it's part of a bigger story that we hope to develop soon. But with this initial shot, I'm sure this is an exclusive screening.
Let's go.
You heard
shout
it
out
here
to Common
first.
You heard it here first.
Yes, so it's going on a festival circuit. Yeah, and hopefully we might get some leads from there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we won two awards this year.
Wow.
So
for Hello Beautiful?
No.
Oh, for
this so that inspires you to go on to this festival, because I think we did two local festivals and one regional
International,
one.
okay, yeah.
And then when we did the first festival, I started getting invites from Kenya, Tanzania, you know,
Well done.
I think Uganda, you know, and unfortunately we were still building Hello Beautiful, so we couldn't send it out. So soon after Comes, suppose it's going out
To the,
to
the
the
festival
Yeah,
circuit.
yeah,
Well
yeah.
done. Let's give him a round of applause, guys. Yeah. Trevor, got a question over here. Let's give another round of applause to Trevor, man. This guy's working hard.
Thank you. I'm Vinny. I'm a writer. And I want to know the amount of work required to develop a script for something like what we've just seen.
It's difficult to quantify.
Okay, let's start with this. How many treatments did you do for the adaptation to short film? Maybe we can start there.
I don't know. I seriously, well, I can't count, but quite a lot.
Quite a lot.
A lot of back and forths, because we communicate on WhatsApp with Brenda. So I'll be sending her something. She's saying, so we can go. I think maybe 3 months.
Wow.
Of coming up with the final thing, because it's you people from two different worlds, and you get maybe slightly different visions. Yeah. So you try and make it work, and
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of work.
So I think this helps kind of clarify one of the questions we got earlier about why don't people make more animated content? If you add it all together, that render time we talked about, for example, the script writing and the treatments that go into that, for example, and the actual hands-on animation work, it adds up and it can go beyond a year or two just for a small project like this. So I hope that gives greater perspective to people who are asking, especially in the case of the previous speaker, Bill, who does a lot of touring. He goes to conventions, he writes books, and so on. In the end, your time is so limited and expensive. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, we got a repeat question over here. Trevor, are you close by?
Great. My other question is around collaboration. And from my experience, I've been in the game for a bit. From my experience, collaborating sometimes is difficult because of a number of things. How do you go about building a good team on a tight budget, tight to none? So how do you reach out to someone who you want to collaborate with when money doesn't really play well in Zim?
Yeah, that's a very good one.
Yeah. He asked the tough one, so next time we're just gonna skip them. I'm kidding.
Well, look, I think just honestly reaching out to people, I think that's the best. That's the best you can do. Like a lot of people, I remember, especially with music. Yeah, I was reaching out to people, and when people see the work, they think, or some of them will think that you're probably getting funding from somewhere, and now you're trying to downplay them. So that's the challenging thing, especially with a tight budget. But I think it's just honesty.
Honesty.
Pretty much. There's pretty much nothing else you can do. Just honestly reach out to people. And it's not everyone that will agree because it's your vision, but you will bump into people who are fired up, who would want to chip in to make this project a success. And at some point, it just starts working out, because the good thing about collaborations is regardless of budget, what happens is, as you start working together, business opportunities will open up, because that same collaboration is also networking. So that's those same people that you're reaching out to, they might bring the business, or you might have business for them, and then it just starts growing from there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for now. Lionel Fowler is still around. He's still here, so you'll be able to approach him and ask him questions. For those of you who don't know, I've been speaking to Mr. Lionel Fowler, the founder of Brick Village Animation and creative director there as well. Let's give him a round of applause.